Good evening. I call to order the mayor and council meeting on June 10th. I ask for a moment of silence for all of those impacted by wars and civil unrest around the world. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call. Oh, sorry. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on January 11th, 2024 of this location, date and time to the town news and the record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and borough website, and filing a notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilwoman Caplan.
Here.
Council President Los Santos.
Here.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilwoman Mallory.
Here.
Councilman Bentley.
Here.
Councilman Black.
Here.
Mayor Capalayo is absent with prior notice.
Thank you. We have a few proclamations and awards, and I think we have the Riverdale Robotic Team certificates to hand in. Dr. Edward Houston, are you the STEM club moderator?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll read them into the record, and then each one of you will get your certificate, okay?
Okay.
All right, so recognition of the Riverdale Hypnotic Robotics Team 4215 for winning the State of New Jersey competition and qualifying for the World Championship, finishing second overall in their division. Signed Mayor Thomas Papaleo, June 10th, 2024, on behalf of the mayor and council. Congratulations. All right, well, maybe we'll hold, I quote everybody's name, if you help me.
Okay.
Jaden Serma Hosni, I think this is a team mentor.
Yes.
Rachel Zamsky. Brandon Yee. William Volcanter. David Swin. Jeremy Salto. Zachary Neville. Suhil Mantu Bekumar. Camila Arana Belgar. So I'll give it to you.
Yes.
Subhan Kumar. Seoyin Kim. Ted Erdo. Parker Sarmakozy. And last but not least, Madeline Campestre. Do you want to say a few words on behalf of the team, please?
Yeah, I just want to say how proud I am of these guys. This was truly a world competition because there was 25 countries represented, 45 states, speaking 18 different languages. So this was a real gathering from around the world, every inhabited continent. And to make it as far as they did, just to make it to the competition in the first place was incredible, but to do as well as they did once they got there was over and above. So Guys, salute you and good job.
You guys like to get a picture?
You want to
together?
picture together?
Sure.
What?
If you want to go on that back wall there, that's, or whatever works for you. It's good, whatever works.
Yes, me too. Oh, we terrific picture. Cool.
He's in, everybody. Well, one minute. He's in a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys. And gals.
You're more than welcome to stay, but we have a full agenda ahead of us, but it's up to you.
Yeah,
we got
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Super.
All right. So moving forward with the agenda, as everyone knows, this is UNICEF Pride Month. So I'm gonna read a proclamation, and if anybody in the public is willing to accept it, please come forth. If not, I'm gonna read it to the record anyway. Proclamation, whereas the struggles for dignity and equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning LGBTQ+ people is reflected in the tireless dedication of advocates and allies who strive to forge a more inclusive society. And whereas President Clinton on June 2nd, 2000, declared June Gay and Lesbian Pride Month to commemorate the June 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Lower Manhattan. And on June 1st, 2009, President Barack Obama expanded the commemoration further by declaring the June to be Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month. And whereas June 28th, 2019 marked the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, which broke out following a police raid of the Stonewall Inn, targeting LGBTQ and patrons and other marginalized people in violation of their civil rights, leading to the birth of the gay rights movement. And whereas LGBTQ and Americans, including those who live in our local communities, face discrimination simply for being who they are and for who they love, and there remain much work to do, extend the promise of our country to every person. And whereas the landmark Supreme Court decision of 2015 guaranteeing marriage equality in all 50 states was a historic victory for LGBTQ+ Americans. It continues to affirm our belief that we are all more free when we are treated as equals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, in representation Lisa Montesano Cohen by Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, in recognition thereof, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as LGBTQ and Pride Month. Signed, Mayor Thomas Papaleo. If anybody in the community is here to receive the proclamation, please let me know. If not, we'll move to the next of the agenda. Or on the, I don't know if anybody, Michelle, on the call.
If anyone on the call would like to accept it, please raise your hand. I don't think so.
Perfect. All right. So now we're moving to item 6 of the agenda, public comments of any items of the agenda. I ask for a motion and a second to open to the floor to the public of any item on this agenda.
So moved. Second.
As members of the public who wish to speak, to come forward and state their name and address for the record when they do so.
And raise your hand if you're online and you would like to speak on an item on the agenda.
Just for a procedural perspective, everybody in the public comment has 2 minutes, so.
Okay,
got it.
Name and address.
Kenny Lehman, 190 Tenny Avenue. So, thank you. Thanks for having us tonight. Thanks for getting on the agenda. The item with regards to the rescinding of employment offers to several senior students from the Riverdale community for this summer's summer camp. The thing that I wanted to bring up tonight is that while I understand there might be circumstances that might lead to budgeting issues or what have you, or resourcing issues, that I think that unfortunately, the way that this has played out this year, okay, did not work well for our senior students, especially those that depend on this source of income or depend on this employment opportunity, and ones who have been returning, some of them since they've been, in the camp themselves since they were 5 years old. So what I wanted to point out is that unfortunately, due to the fact that this didn't play out very well, and that the timing of it just is very it creates a wrongful experience for our kids, right? Basically, employment offers went out on March 14th, okay? Attached to that was an actual employment letter, an offer for employment. In neither of those communications was anything with regards to a restriction on time off stated, okay? After, I can only speak to the experience of my son Gavin, who's here with me tonight, but after he did return the signed letter along with my wife's signature, he did receive a receipt of that offer, by Mr. Rica, who, acknowledged that it was received. And again, in that email, there was no communication of any restriction on time off. All right. The next email he received, I believe, was there was an indication that more information would come out on dates in April timeframe. That actually came out on, I believe, May 9th. And then on May 9th, he received another email, no mention of any restrictions. Went through the entire thing with, dates for orientation and what have you, and asked for,
Sorry,
Is that
Kenny,
2
that's 2
minutes?
minutes. You can finish your sentence though.
it was never expressed there was a restriction until I went through Community Pass. And through Community Pass, the notification came back that said, if the time off requested was not expressed during the Community Pass application process, would it not be honored? Okay, so for them to then find out from May 9th and then on June 3rd, which happened to be Gavin's 18th birthday, that he was no longer going to be employed as a third-year counselor, first as a counselor first year, second year as a unit leader, and now again as a unit leader. Unfortunately, I don't think that that's doing our senior students in a right way. And I think that they should have their offers of employment honored this year. And if you need to make changes, enact them going forward after this summer. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Someone online does have a comment. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak first? You do. It's not hard.
Just your name and address.
My name is Olivia Power, 15 Tenny Ave. So this year would have been my 3rd year as a counselor, and I got an email asking to be a unit leader. So of course I was very thrilled. I love my job as a counselor. I love the kids and I love the families. And one thing that I feel I have to mention is that as a senior, I feel like I just think that it's unfair, again, the timeline of it, being only 2 weeks for the summer, and us as seniors, most of us are heading off to college, and this was our job for the summer that we were relying on. And because of the late notice, the timelining of getting another job is going to be pretty hard, because a lot of those positions have already been filled for their summer employment opportunities, especially knowing since we do have days off. Also, I just think it's a little unfair for now, us and many of our other counselors to have to tell the families who trust us, that we're not gonna be there for their kids this year. And, I know that a lot of, juniors and seniors, got their employment taken away because of dates taken off. So right now, they only have the younger high schoolers to take care of their kids, and I'm not saying that's not okay. I just think that, for the parents' sake, that, having some older, teenagers and adults, because we're 18, the seniors, that would be a nice relief on the parents. But yeah, that's it. I love my job and I just was disappointed.
Thank you.
Jill, there's two.
Okay. We'll start with Tad HG. I'm not sure. I said your name wrong. If I did, I apologize.
No, I forgot to change over the Zoom. Sorry. This is Colleen Hamel Schwabik, 140 Ween Avenue.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll come right on and say it. This was not a nice thing to do to the seniors. If this has been the past policy. My son would have been third year. He did it. He took over for the seniors last year, as he did the year before for the seniors the year before that. If this was going to change the policy, they should have been told months ago and not started the online training and told that they had a job. They should have been told in February, March, even April. All these kids could have had another job, gone to look for other jobs. My son alone had other job offers. He said no because he thought he had a job. This is not fair. If this is the new precedence, then it should be for next year, not this year. It is simply not fair. This is a nasty thing to do to these seniors who have given their time, effort, and they've been wonderful to these kids. And these kids are looking forward to having them in the camp. The other thing is too, they bring in experience. So now you're saying right now, you're going to say that, okay, so now you're going to have only 16 and 17-year-olds, and you're missing out on this awesome supervision from 18-year-olds, people with, kids who have been there for 3 years. I'm just saying this is wrong. This is not the thing to do. I've talked to the rec director and he kind of was wishy-washy and said, well, I didn't know about it. But that's his job to know about it. He should have known about it and told the kids way before. I think you need to reverse this decision this year, take a look at it, and not put this decision on the seniors. They didn't do anything wrong. It's the rec department. It's the town. You need to take a look at this and reverse this.
Thank
Time's
you.
up,
Thank you.
sorry.
That was time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next is Monica, 1 second. Monica?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, good evening to everyone. I am just here because I spoke with the library director, Derek O'Connor, this afternoon, and I also called to speak to the lady at the NJ, what's her name? Let me see her name. I spoke with the Lizette Portela. Yeah. So I was advised to come to this meeting to ask a question. We are having a private event at the River Edge Public Library for adults.
Monica,
It's a
let me interrupt you for a second. I think we are in the right now speaking about a situation with the summer camp. You can
Oh,
either hang on in the call and speak
Yes.
at when we open to the public later on in the agenda. Would that be okay?
Yes, that's perfect. I was not sure. I thought everybody was asking their questions. So let me know when it's time to speak.
Yeah, we're just gonna give the others there may want to speak
Yes.
on that item, and then we'll open up again later in the agenda. Okay?
Okay, I apologize. Yes.
Nope, no,
problem.
nothing to apologize.
That was it.
No one else?
That was it.
All right, so we have here for the public. I'm gonna read something from myself into the record and take it from there. Okay, so now that we have heard from everyone, I ask a motion and a second to close to the public.
So moved. Second. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll move on and I'll read my statement into the record. As a member of this community, this matter is very unfortunate. While the process has not been as it should, and nor the messaging, minimum wages increases, low registration during the course of the application process, an opportunity to return was sent to former camp counselors. 18 returning camp counselors expressed interest in returning at the start of the application process. During the application process, these 18 counselors informed us that they all would be away 1 week, some longer, during the 5-week camp program. Once the rec director realized this would impact 20% of the job commitment in collaboration with our BA, Ms. Portela, this was determined not feasible. Since the camp is self-funded, no fees increase were considered for this year. Providing coverage for the absent camp counselors would negatively impact the success of the camp, causing reduction in activities or even closing the camp for the time counselors requested time off. This is both impractical and not practical at all and not fiscally responsible. Subsequently, the rec director communicated to all camp counselors that had requested time off a rescinded offer letter, giving them the opportunity to reconsider changing their schedule. To my knowledge, none responded or reconsidered. And to ensure the camp was fully staffed for the 5 weeks, offers were made to the crew that committed it to work for the 5 weeks. That all said, I've asked the camp director and in coordination with Ms. Portela that the camp registration remains open past the due date of 6/18, hoping we can reach capacity of 300 kids so the rec director and the BA can evaluate the balance of the camp trust fund account. Personally, to ensure clear communication, I think formal offers of employment should only be sent once the application process is completed and time off and vacation requests are reviewed. Lastly, while this matter is very unfortunate, it has caused unrest. The rec director has been subject to verbal abuse in person and over the phone. Verbal abuse against board employees is not what River Edge is about. So for additional context, I'll ask Ms. Portela to provide a synopsis of the chain of events for the edification of the community and everyone present. Ms. Portela.
Thank you. In mid-March of this year, an outreach letter offering the opportunity to return to this year's camp session was submitted to approximately 50 former counselors, not administrative camp staff, to gauge interest and determine whether new counselors would need to be solicited. It was a version of letters issued in the past that had been updated with the 2024 minimum wage rates and camp session dates. And during this time, the Recreation Department, which consists of the director and a part-time assistant, they were working on the River Edge Run, prepping the field for various sports events, replenishing the fields that have been impacted by flooding, working on various grant applications with me and the grant writer and the borough engineer, preparing capital projects such as the batting cages that were recently installed for Little League, pickleball, tennis, yoga, Memorial Day, and revamping the senior program. In that time period, of the 50 former counselors, 37 expressed an interest in returning. An outline of all the steps in the process was provided, which included a link to submit an application, the date of the mandatory meeting, which is June 18th, information on annual online training required by the Municipal Joint Insurance Fund, and a link for working papers if applicable. Early bird registration opened up on May 2nd through the 9th, and now we're in the late registration process. In mid-May through the end of May, 50 new applicants were interviewed for consideration. By June 3rd, all potential personnel were assessed. 18 of the 37 former counselors, 50%, were taking the same week off or more of the program, 20% of the program. As Council President Montesano Cohen explained, the camp is solely funded through fees assessed for the program that are deposited in a dedicated trust account. That trust account covers supplies, events, and personnel. The current balance is $107,520.65. The estimated total payroll for 39 counselors and unit leaders, plus the administrative camp staff, is $86,285.75, assuming there are no rain dates. Transportation for trips and supplies adds another estimated $7,285. That leaves a balance to date of $13,949.90. Having this information, after thorough review, the options were increase the program rates to hire additional personnel to accommodate the former counselors who are planning on missing the program at the same time, thereby notifying the families of 249 children already registered that they would need to pay more for the program this year. Cancel camp for that week in question, which is the third week of the program. Let the program run into the negative, which is not permitted by law, and drastically increase rates next year. Or notify these 18 former counselors that they would not be rehired due to the impact this week off would have on the overall program, but offer them the opportunity to have the decision reconsidered if their requested days off change. To best of my knowledge, to date, none of the 18 young adults advised that they were adjusting their time off schedule so they could work the program. Hiring them in addition to the current personnel selected for the program would add $27,234, which as of today would reduce the trust account in the negative by $13,284.10. This decision was not made lightly. That is why they were given a couple days to make adjustments to their time off. Since none of them had changed their schedule, 18 new counselors of the 50 that were interviewed were hired. The entire situation was to determine what was the best course of action for the program's participants. The ratio of counselors for kindergarten and first grade is 1:6, and for second grade and older, 1:8 or 1:10, depending on group size. To hire an excess number of counselors is fiscally irresponsible and impractical.
Thank you, Ms. Portela. So moving on, I ask a motion and a second to approve the following appointments and personnel changes. Do I need to read the name?
No.
It's on file.
That's the 3-day. Approve that.
Approve the hire of camp staff from June 24th, 2024 through July 26th, 2024, as per the list of on file with the Borough Clerk's Office.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on, monthly reports. We have the following monthly reports on file within the clerk's office and available for inspection, and I'll read them into the item into the record. Environment Protection Commission and Green Team, May 21st, 2024. Tax Collector Report, May 31st, 2024. Library Board Trustees, June 4th, 2024. We have some ordinances to read into the record. I request a council member to make a motion to introduce and pass on first reading ordinances 2415 and 2416 when I read them. A set hearing for June 24th, 2024 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard as the date and time at the River Edge Library as the place and Zoom as a virtual platform for the hearing of said ordinances. I'm going to read the ordinance into the record. Ordinance 2415, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the Borough of River Edge, Chapter 400, Vehicles and Traffic. Ordinance 2416, an ordinance to amend Chapter 206 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of River Edge, entitled Fees.
So moved.
Second. Typically, we ask RBA to provide a brief synopsis of the ordinance, and Mr. Patel, if you could, please.
Yes, 2415 is the outcome of the discussion at our last council meeting, which would allow up to 15 parking spots solely at the River Edge Road train station parking lot to be designated for non-resident commuters. And 2416 goes hand in hand with it. What it does is it establishes the rate to be assessed to the non-commuters, as well as update the resident commuter parking rates, which were increased nominally. The last increase was 6 years ago.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call?
Councilwoman Hoffman.
Yes.
Council President Monsanto.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pistola.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mallory.
Yes.
Councilman Benson.
Yeah.
Councilman Fawnin.
All right, I have resolutions by consent. I'll ask if anyone wishes any resolution to be pulled for discussion or separate vote. If not, I'll requested resolution to be, I ask for a motion and a second to approve resolutions 24-190 through the resolution 24-200.
Couple of questions.
Sure. Which resolution, Dave?
Yeah, give me a second. Council President. 196. The recycling yard.
Yep.
Labor. How many hours a week are we budgeting for that?
Up to 29 hours.
Okay, it doesn't say that in the resolution. And that, I don't know if you need it, Phil, I just wanted to ask for more information, but.
Are you still in the same resolution, Dave?
But,
Are you still in 24-196 or are you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
another?
no, that's it.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask a question about 197.
Okay.
Zach, can you describe the work? Because the resolution states that there's a copy of the change order attached, but I don't see it. I don't see any attachment.
Did you grab the public version? Okay.
So what's the work?
It is,
I understand it says to build up the subfloor.
yes,
So is that the full amount to install an elevated subfloor in the entire space?
yes, upon further review, the entire flooring does not have to be removed. So this is a subfloor addition, moving the vault, because the vault has to be lifted and the closet is reconfigured, installing the wood, blocking, the existing joists for extra support, installing sleepers, floor joists and plywood. And
So this is the total amount of the change of the contractor to do all that work is $11,495.63.
yes, the total work, and it also includes the overhead, the profit, the bonding, all the allowable increases.
So all the work associated with elevating the floor in that space that'll be occupied by the finance department will be completed, we hope, in the amount of $11,495.63.
Yes, nothing has to be removed, so there doesn't need to be any type of a remediation. That's what would have driven up the cost significantly.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
What Dave said on 196, does that have to be in the resolution?
Yeah, I'll restate the motion with the amendment of adding the hours.
Got it.
Anybody else? Okay, so once again, I need a motion and a second to all resolutions by consent 24-190 through 24-200 and 24-196 amended to include up to 29 hours
Per week.
per week.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Wait, I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Yes.
It's for, our attorney. If I could just get a yes or no answer to this, I'd really appreciate it. Regarding 199. This action. Let's see, resolution 199. Is this a statutory requirement to advance the process?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I need to abstain from 199. I apologize.
I apologize. for
Oh.
not pulling that out.
I abstain too.
Correct.
We didn't do this was.
Yeah, they're not, we don't have the minutes from that.
Okay, so I restate the motion a third time. I need a motion and a second for resolutions 24-190 through 24-199. Amending 24-196 to include up to 29 hours per week.
It's up to
200, yeah, I said 200. Oh, so, okay, so again, from 24,190 to 24,200. With an amendment to 24,196 to include up to 29 hours per week.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
All of the items except for I am abstaining from 199.
Council President Marcelo Hall,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mawala,
All the items except 24-199, I abstain.
Councilman Benson,
Yes.
Councilman Bott.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Yeah. So I request the Councilwoman Kaufman, as President of the Finance Committee, to move Resolution 24-201.
Payment of bills at a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on June 10, 2024. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $184,349.17. General capital fund, $16,624.50. Grant fund, $750. Animal control, $456.80. Trust other, $35,419.13. Payroll, $20,717.26. Unemployment trust, $3,540.35. Developers escrow, $367.50. Self-insurance trust, $10,282.99. Recreation trust, $9,679. So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Calvin,
Yes.
Council President Marcelo Hall,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mawala,
Yes.
Councilman Benson,
Yes.
Councilman Bott.
Yes.
Great. So item 12 of the agenda brings us to new business, and I believe there is a residential parking permits discussion about Grove Street parking lot, that I believe that's the one behind the parking lot of, the River Edge lot, correct?
Yes, it's behind, I think behind Richley's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who will speak to this matter? Will be, Ms. Portela?
Yes, a resident, of 33 Grove Street had reached out to myself, to the, Lieutenant Zemedes, requesting that they've had an ongoing struggle with parking. Their driveway only accommodates 3 of the 4 vehicles that they own. And, so if everybody is home or if they have visitors, there's really no other place to park in the vicinity because that parking lot on Grove Street is solely designated for business owners. This has been reviewed with the traffic division, and they have looked at some of the requests that they've received over the past 5 years. And in their evaluation, the business district parking lot never had more than 10 permits issued in a calendar year based on their records. So they do say that there is space to accommodate up to 3 residential vehicles. And if the governing body wishes to move forward, we would just do another resolution amending our parking ordinance to state that the Grove Street parking lot will allow for up to 3 parking spaces, and then establish the fees by a separate ordinance, similar to the action we took tonight.
All right. And is it fair to say that the 3 permits will be first come, first serve?
Yes.
All right. Open for debate?
Is there any expectation that other people will want these spots versus the one who requested?
If so, it's such a small area, it won't be stiff competition for it. It's not some, like the commuter parking that there's demand. People who have asked for it are people who live in that block.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So, me too.
So what will be the next procedural arrangement for this, Ms. Portillo?
Preparing an ordinance for introduction at the next meeting and working with the Borough Clerk's office, because the sticker parking that we have designate that it's for commuters, so we would just have to order residential stickers and make sure they're a different color, so that way it stands out.
Right, and just for the community awareness, this already was vetted and reviewed by the police department and Patrick Damon, who's the traffic unit.
Yes, the traffic division reviewed it, and nothing leaves the particular divisions without being vetted by the captain and ultimately the police chief.
Okay, thank you. So I'll ask now everybody else in the governing body if anyone has any other new business to bring to the forum. Seeing none, all business.
Oh,
Anybody?
I have something.
Oh,
We were awarded $69,000 under the 2024 Local Recreation Improvement Grant. We requested 100,000. It's to help with the overhaul of Memorial Park, addressing the drainage and the GIF safety issues. And every bit of a grant that we receive is less money on the taxpayer. So congratulations to our recreation director, working tirelessly with Millennium Strategies, our grant writer. And we just now have to wait for the state to formalize the agreements for Mayor Papaleo to sign off on.
and how soon could we expect that grant to be actually received?
It's a reimbursable grant, so we would have to spend the money first and submit the paperwork to receive that funding. Usually from when these types of grants are announced, the agreements are issued within 3 to 4 months.
Okay. Thank
We
you.
also forgot to mention last time, Ms. Apatella, our cybersecurity status. I thought you wrote something in one of the emails about that.
Yes, we are in our joint insurance fund of all the municipalities. Not all 70 are in that fund, but there are a significant number, I think over 30 or so. We are in compliance with the cyber risk liability program. So we met all the requirements, and we're constantly monitoring. So all those emails you send me, is this legitimate? It's legitimate as part of the testing process. And don't click on anything if you don't know where it comes from.
Thank you. So I'll ask a motion and a second to open the floor to the public on any item.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Monica.
Okay, so 1 second. Okay, Monica, are you there? Sorry
Yes,
about that.
hi. No problem. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfectly.
Yes. So I was asking about, I mean, this is the first time I'm having I'm a volunteer in a nonprofit organization, and
Monica, can I
here-
stop you again? I'm sorry. Could you restate for the record your full name and address? I know we had it at the beginning, but you have to do it again.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. My full name is Monica Jesuk, and I'm a resident of 83 Wayne Avenue in River Edge.
Thanks, Monica. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I'm a volunteer at a nonprofit organization, and we are having a private event for the residents of River Edge or anyone who's interested for a free meditation session on this Saturday at the library. But because we are not sure how many people will come, we wanted to have a banner outside the library to give handouts just on that day of the event. Maybe 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the event. So is that permissible? And the other question is, for the same event, I was thinking if it would be okay to go to the farmers market that is every Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. to give handouts to anyone who approaches me. So these are only my 2 questions, because I haven't been able to do much campaigning, but other than have the event on the community's Facebook page. So this is something we wanted to do because we rescheduled the event because of nobody registering for it. Is this allowed? Like Derek asked me and the Lizette asked me to come to this call and ask you guys.
So you spoke with Dara, the director of, for the record, the director of the library, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna just pose a question to our board attorney, but I think the library as a quasi-independent entity is the one that has to decide whether
They're,
they.
sorry, I don't,
Independent.
they're a wholly independent
Yeah.
entity. They're not quite, the library is their own board. They have they theoretically have their own attorney. They can sue and be sued in their own capacity. So they make their own decisions with respect to the banner. If that was a question about who puts the banner up, that should be answered by either Dara or by the board, not by the Mayor Council.
Does that answer your question, Monica?
Farmers market may be a little different because that's run by the,
Yes.
by the governing body, I believe, or by the town.
Yes, so I will, yes, I can ask Derek if I can, we can have a banner outside the library just on that day and give handouts to whoever is visiting the library to attend the session. And what about the farmers market? I know it only happens once in a week, so this
Right.
Thursday is my only choice, opportunity.
So are you planning on just giving out handouts at the market?
Yes, that's all.
I think that's okay, then, yes.
As long as it's not for profit, yes.
Yes,
it's-
I think that's
it's not a
fine.
Commercial enterprise.
Okay.
Otherwise,
It's
it'll be
only
permanent.
for, if I'm planning to do this because it is by the library and anyone who comes there in that neighborhood to the farmers market will get a chance to get a handout of the flyer that is also in the library's notice board. It will be the same flyer that I would be just giving out by hand only 5 to 7 p.m. this Thursday.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You can come on Thursday and look for one of the farmers markets committee members, and we can coordinate how to best do it without disrupting the public.
Okay, so on that day, can I
Yes.
meet somebody on that day?
Yes, yes.
Just
We'll
look for me.
look for Michelle Kaufman or myself or somebody from the committee.
Okay, Michelle, I will remember. Okay, so I'll look for Michelle before I give out the handouts. Michelle Kaufman. Okay,
Kaufman, yeah.
yeah. So Michelle, I will be there Thursday after work. So around 5 o'clock, I will come there with the flyers and then you can direct me.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll see you then.
See you
Thank
then.
you.
Thanks. And I'll ask Derek tomorrow about the banner.
Thank you.
Okay.
Luck,
Thank you.
Monica.
Okay.
Anyone else online?
Nope.
We don't have anyone present.
Does anyone else have a question or comment online?
All right, so at this
That's-
point, I'll ask a motion and a second to close the floor to the public.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, at this point, we have council comments. Anyone from the governing body has any comments for the public?
I have some comments.
Go ahead, Dick.
Thank you. I think it's horrible that our recreation director was not provided with the respect that he deserves in connection with the camp issue. I asked that Joe be here tonight, but I didn't provide much notice, but I'm happy to see that he's online with us. Thank you, Joe. I don't really understand what happened. I heard conflicting information from what I was told by various people associated with the borough and what the public said today about this camp counselor events, what occurred in the borough with the camps, staffing of the camp. I'd like to suggest, of course, in the future that we are responsive to the concerns that were raised today by the public. But especially, I'd like to ask if there's any way that any of these kids can be brought on as camp counselors this summer, that we still make every possible effort to do that. If someone drops out, if there's another opening, if more kids sign up, we find some money in the budget, let's get these kids a job. let's do everything we can to try to fulfill their expectations, even if it's just a matter of some of them serving as substitutes. You know, if some kids are taking off a few days, let's offer everything we can to the folks that thought they had a job and found out kind of late in the game that they did. That's my request of, I guess, who's ever managing the hiring. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else? Okay. So I've asked for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favors?
Aye.
Aye.